What's going on, everybody? Marc Pack here, and the story of me as a kid was just a little stubborn, tough, little red-headed stepchild from Effingham County. I love to fish, love to get in trouble, and a lot of that getting in trouble is how I got introduced to construction. So I would get in trouble, and my parents would say, "Hey, you know, you're gonna spend the summers working." And a lot of my family members had construction companies, and you know, I would spend my summers working, digging ditches, pulling wires, handing up shingles, climbing ladders, everything that kids shouldn't be doing at 12 and 13 years old. But it really set the precedence for what I was going to do for the rest of my life, and I didn't even know it. It kind of backfired on my mom and dad, because I enjoy the camaraderie, I enjoy being out there with the guys, and you know, really kind of opened my eyes to, you know, what hard work was about and what achievement was about, being able to get out, start early in the morning on a job, and then leave that afternoon with a finished project. And it really got into my heart and my soul, and that's something I used for a long time after that. Fast forward 2 or 3 years, you know, I'm probably about 14 or 15 years old, and you know, I go into school, and you know, I'm always getting in trouble, like I said. So you know, my principals are there, and they're like, "Mark, what are you doing?" So I'm like, looking, I'm like, well, I'm going to class. What's going on, guys? And they're like, "No, you're not. You're done." And you know, obviously, I'm like, I don't understand what's going on. They're like, "Look, you need to turn around and just get out of here, man. You're wasting your time. You've got skills, Mark, but they're not at school." And I know it sounds crazy, but this is some of the best advice I ever got from anybody. It was my principal at 15 years old saying, "Mark, school's not for you," right? So I said, you know what, I'm out of here. You know, you don't want me here, I don't want to be here, I left. So I immediately started my career in construction working for my uncles, which worked out really good because they actually mentored me and made sure that I didn't just have a job, but I was ready for success, which is the same thing that the Excel program does. Mentoring you, getting you ready, not only to have a job, but to be successful in your career. So I worked there for about 2 or 3 weeks, and I get a phone call that changed my life forever. I get a phone call from my wife, Christina Pack, who is here today, my lovely wife of 14 years, and you know, my high school sweetheart. And she gives me a call, and she goes, "Look, you're gonna be a father." And that really changed my life right there. It changed the dynamics of who I was gonna be and how I started perceiving this work that I was doing. So I knew, hey, if I'm gonna be a father, then I gotta be the best at something. And I have no education, I have no skill level. All the time I should have been worried about building a career, I was worried about, you know, getting in trouble. And so I'm like, what am I gonna do? Construction, right? That's the only thing I had. That's the only thing I was good at. Home renovations, right? So I started just trying harder, right? I just started getting, if I had to be to work at 8, I was there at 7:30, right? If you know, we had to take a lunch, I just worked right through, okay? I mean, that was the persistence and hard work that's gonna be needed for you guys to be successful too. You know, it was needed for me, and that's the reason why I learned hard work ethic then, but I had a reason, right? I was gonna be a dad. So I'm doing construction work for my uncles, and 9 months later, my daughter, Kaya Pack, was born. And I took a few days off work, so I wanted to invite my uncles over to meet my daughter. To my surprise, when they get there, they say, "Mark, we think you should start your own business." I'm floored. I'm like, I'm 17, I'm not ready to start my own business, but they believed in me, and they believed in my idea, and that day, my construction company, Hallelujah Restoration, was born. You know, you can't just snap your fingers, go out and start, you know, putting out flyers and generate a bunch of work. I had an idea. I'm gonna call some of my buddies, right? Some of the guys I know who ran construction companies, and I'm gonna say, "Hey, can I just work with you for a little while?" And everybody's like, "No, man, we don't need you. We got our crews. We don't need another guy, right? You know, we don't need this young guy." And I'm like, "Listen, be persistent, guys. Remember this, right?" So I call him. I'm like, "Look, I will work any day of the week, man. One day, like, I'll work a Saturday. I'll work in the evening, like, whatever you need, man. Like, I will be there. I will clean the floors, man. Like, I don't care. Like, I need to work. And that's the kind of work ethic it's going to take for y'all guys to get your dreams, you know, achieved. So the guys are like, you know what? Yes, come on. I got a day for you, right? You know, so I'd work with this guy Tuesday, James on Thursday, Steve on Friday, Scott, you know, on Monday, right? Saturday I'd work with these guys. And really God was doing things in my life I didn't know. Right? I didn't know what I was getting, because what was happening was I was trying so hard to learn a trade that I was watching Scott, right? And Scott was like building a business, okay? So I would say, hey, like, how's he building that business? How's that working, right? And then David would like start at 6 in the morning, work right through lunch, and go home at 2. And I was going, man, this guy's getting more work done than everybody, right? And then I was watching James. And James was like meticulously learning, or you know, he was teaching me exactly how to do things. He was so perfect in his quality. So every one of these guys have something to learn from. And I learned, you know, the best of everything they did. And that really propelled me and set me up for what Hallelujah Restoration was going to do and why it was going to be different. And that's why it's important to have multiple mentors, right? Like this guy, you might think he's a total nerd, right? But he's going to teach you something. Okay, so always be open-minded to that, because that's what got me ready to be the best in the business, right? So for the first 2 or 3 years of my company, you know, I'm really struggling, because I would get like a $400 job, and then I realized like I had to buy a $400 ladder or some kind of specialty tool to actually get the job done. So I'm not really making any money, making more mistakes than I really thought I was gonna make, and it was just hard work. But you know what? Pushed through, and that was really like the first 2 or 3 years of my company. Recessions hit, and everybody's freaking out. Well, it doesn't bother me. I'm 2 guys in a truck, right? I'm used to being broke. I'm used to not having work. So I just keep chugging along, right? So recession kind of passes, and here I am. I'm ready to put in some work. These other guys are out of business. People are calling me, and I'm really starting, my company's really starting to look up, right? I get an opportunity to work for a major retailer doing their installations, right? I couldn't be happier. I knew it was gonna be big, but there's one problem. These retailers required so many insurance and so much certifications that it was too expensive for me to just bite off, right? I mean, you're looking at $4,000 or $5,000 worth of certifications, and I'm 23 years old, 22 years old. I barely have that much money, right? Like, that was all the money me and my wife had saved over, you know, the years of being married. So, you know, listen, guys, sometimes you got to take risks, right? When it feels right and you know it's going to pay off, don't be scared to take this risk, because this is the single risk that I took that propelled me in my career. So I'm finally starting to make money. You know, I've got my tools in place. I've got my retail contract. I go from making, you know, $30,000, $40,000 a year to making $120,000 a year. And I've got, you know, 6 or 7 guys now instead of 2. And, you know, I'm happy, right? I can keep making that money. I can keep working with my guys every day. You know, I can stay with those 2 trucks, you know, and just keep making money like everybody else is doing. But that's not what I want, right? That's not me, you know, getting better and getting into that experience and understanding, you know, that drive of being where you're at and being where you're trying to go. That's the experience. That's what I love. That's what you got to have. So I knew the next thing for me was to take the next step and get a shop and create an office and estimators and outside sales coordinators. And, you know, once I did that, it was hard once again, but it really paid off. And it paid off so much that I actually didn't have to go into work every day, because everybody kind of had their own position and their own thing that they were getting done effectively. And when I came in, I was only in there for a few hours, and I felt like, you know, success. Like, the company was making money, it was running itself. Here I am going into my 30s, like, feeling accomplished. So I was actually able to buy a boat that I've wanted for a long time after driving over rivers every day going to work, thinking, you know, one day. Got the boat, and I'm spending like all this time on the water during the week, you know, fishing, feeling like, you know, I finally made it. And back in my mind, I was just thinking, like, there's still more, Mark. You know, like, you know, let's go into your 30s just with more momentum and, you know, just believing in myself again, you know, just believing in myself, pushing myself. And that's when the idea of 912homeworks.com was really revealed to me. So here I am, I'm thinking, what's the next big thing for me and my company, right? You know, you've already got to this point, and you've already decided you're not going to settle for your, you know, what happened in your early 20s, Hallelujah Restoration, had great success. what's next? I said, you know what? I'm ready to give back to a community that gave to me, okay? I'm ready to, you know, take it to the next level. And I'm riding one day in a trip to Charlotte with my daughter, and in a 5-hour trip, she looks up to me twice, and she goes, Daddy, you know, what's for dinner? Daddy, you know, are we there yet? And the rest of the time she's on her phone, and I got to thinking, I'm like, that's the future. Like, people want comfort. They want to be able to go on their phone at their own comfort, their own home, and get an instant quote. Purchase a home renovation, right? Somebody's going to do it. Why can't it be me? All right, guys, like, don't be discouraged, right? Don't say that's too big for me, right? Because that's what I thought at first, right? I'm telling my friends about it, they're going, man, like, that sounds like a great idea, Mark, but how are you going to do that? Well, I didn't know how. I just know that it was worth it for my community and for me to go to the next level, because it's all about that journey from where you're at and where you're going, right? And I know that, and that's what I'm trying to tell y'all out here today. So we decided instant quotes, become the expert. That's what we wanted for our people. Whether it's reading an article, whether it's, you know, watching a video, we want you to become the expert. Then we decided we wanted to create something that's called the 24/7 promise, where you're able to put down $24, get online, and get access to our calendar, where you can have somebody come out at your leisure, whenever you want them to come out, and get an instant quote. Go ahead and start your quote within 24 days. That's the 24/7 promise, and that's the direction we went. So it's all about just, you know, starting where you come from, working hard, persevere, you know, be different, never give up, go to the next level. 912homeworks.com. I'm glad to announce it here today with all my friends and family. October is a great month for great things. Thank y'all for coming out here today. Can't wait to hang out with y'all a little bit later today. Shake some hands. You got questions, you know, find you a great mentor. Do big things. This is the new era. I'm so proud of everybody here today. Let's go. 912homeworks.com. Click today. Start tomorrow. So my story's not over yet, but don't even worry about the story. I mean, I'm still just that same kid from Effingham County who loved to have fun, who just believed in himself. Now I'm here for you. I believe in you. I believe in Excel program. Let's get together, make a difference. Y'all have a great night. Thank y'all and love y'all.